Jeremiah, Nico, who was
Craig, obviously some big news there with Reed Baker-Whiten being signed. Just your thoughts on that signing and, especially giving him the U22 spot in your roster.
Yeah, I mean, look, Reed's done the work. He's obviously developed well. We think he's got more to give, and that's what the contract signifies. Is he's shown us quite a bit, but we think the upside is still a little bit untapped with him. We've had those conversations, so over the next couple of years, we expect a pretty big jump.
Was it any rush, to do this before the U20 World Cup, or it's just the way kind of came about?
No, we've been in conversations for almost a year now. So I think the timing, it just is what it is. In terms of the U20s, it works out well. It allows us to kind of continue as a club to do what we've always done, which is support the player development and the pathway. So for Reed, it's nice. It's a nice little combo, but it's not quite the bow on top that you might think. It's been conversations for months.
A couple of the other two that kind of come to mind is one, Paul Rothrock, our conversations with him and his contract, and then the other one is Obed Vargas. Is there any extension coming to him as well?
Ongoing. I mean, same thing. I've been pretty open about it. Conversations with a lot of players, and sometimes it takes a while to land the plane. Sometimes it lands real quickly, but ongoing with quite a few guys, and those guys, some have some nice offers in front of them. It's just a matter of if we can find that final agreement. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's been ongoing for months and months and months, the conversation. So it just kind of happens to line up in terms of timing, but there's no direct correlation other than it got done.
Yeah.
And the U20s are happening.
Yeah, I mean, I guess on that same note, though, I know at one point there was a lot of talk about Reed, interest from overseas, and I'm just curious what that, how you communicated his vision of where he wants to go, and if this is sort of, you guys think this is more of a long-term situation.
Yeah, I think you'd have to go back to whoever was talking about that, because I don't think it was me.
Obviously, this team prides themselves on getting the Obeds and the Reeds, and now being able to reward those guys. How fulfilling is that for the overall operation here for the Sounders?
It's nice. It's not nice in terms of when you lose players. It's never nice. It doesn't matter what competition they're going to. I'm the general manager of the Sounders, not any other youth team or national team. So my job's to worry about this first, and that's what I do on a daily basis. So it's never nice to lose a player. It's always nice to support a player's development, and so I think that's more the category this fits in. We're very proud as an organization to do that. We've always been consistent in the way we do that, and so I think it's a matter of being consistent, staying consistent with who we are. But yeah, it's when I put that GM hat back on, it's a bit concerning.
Obed Vargas obviously going into the U20s. Your thoughts on that? And are you surprised that maybe he's done more in the conversation for the senior national team as well? I mean, it just seems like he has the goods to be there.
I think you've got to ask the Mexican Federation on that. That's not for me to answer.
Obviously, you win Leagues Cup. Just your overall feelings after, this roster that you've put together is able to make it there, beat Messi in Inter Miami, a team that's kind of thought about as this checkbook, right? Just be able to buy whoever they want.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it frequently over the last couple of weeks. I think, winning Leagues Cup's great for the club. Obviously, we're the only club that has every trophy now. That's a huge accomplishment, but in our world, you move on quickly when you need to move on quickly. We've already not gotten a couple results since then, and so the focus is back on league and back on the next thing we want to accomplish, which is to hold one more trophy up this year.
Thinking about Reed's future at the club, you guys have put him, in the back line and also up line. Where do you kind of see his more permanent role on the team?
Where I see it and where the coaching staff sees it could be a little different. But the coaching staff decides who plays and where. So I think you're going to be way more beneficial answer to ask Brian that one. But anywhere in the flanks, I think, is where we're most comfortable. The one thing I think we all agree on is it's probably not central. But he's pretty comfortable on both sides, advanced and withdrawn. So I think a lot of it, too, in MLS depends on how you're building the roster and how you can sustain roster management over the years. And so year-over-year planning will have a lot to do with where his opportunities are, too.
Last couple questions, guys.
Reed was one of the youngest players to make his MLS debut.
Mm-hmm.
He's now been a pro. I think this is his 5th season. What kind of progress have you seen? What have you seen in him that you've liked and that gave you the confidence to give him a long-term extension?
Well, the timing looks pretty nice considering he played his single best game as a pro in the Leagues Cup final on the left, which is nice to see. So the fact that he can play on both sides comfortably and the fact that he likes to advance the ball, his physical profile those are all things that stand out when you watch him, and I think anyone that watches him can identify those easily. Now it's a matter for Reed of really putting a stamp on one position himself and then owning it and defending it and making sure it's his.
When you look at this
Last
roster and so many players that have options for next year, at this moment in time, although it's early, do you see a lot of turnover? Do you see this team, this core group staying together? Like, what do you see there?
Well, the biggest challenge when you have a group like this with a lot of guys that have, in theory, from the outside looking in, overachieved, certainly on paper from the outside, people not knowing what we know about these guys, is values go up and perceived values goes up, and frankly, a lot of interest level goes up. So we'll have to weigh options. We'll have to weigh offers when we get them. We will receive offers this year based on the way that our team's performed. And if we continue to perform the way we have down the stretch, I think it'll pique interest even more. So there'll be a lot of conversations about who stays, who goes. And I think the difference this year, most of anyone going out will most likely be going out on a transfer.
All right. Thank you, guys.